We start here at a starting screen. The layout of the device seems to be that of an Apple, a standard Apple iPhone. Now, as you can see over here into the top left corner, you will see Verizon 5G. Into the top right, you will see 58% battery. 58% battery is close, but not exactly. About 50% left of your charge. However, if your device is a device in which you have destroyed your battery in a way to where your battery percentage is not properly maintained, something it does not work properly, then this may not represent fully 58% of your battery left. Now, if you pay attention down to the top right corner, you will see the recording button, along with other widgets. Widgets are something that have been introduced to Apple for at least over a decade now to easily bring you to certain applications, and one of these is a built-in screen recorder tool. Now, you will see surrounding the area, you will see in order the flashlight, camera, stopwatch, hearing, and calculator widgets, all respectfully next to the recording in the bottom right. If you pay attention to the volume, you will see that it is at about 10% of its full volume, and the brightness is a little bit over 50, about halfway. Likely a 60-40 formation. As the screen has been wiped down, you will see a multitude of interesting things to note. You can see here that the area in which we are seeing this looks to either be something that has been gathered from a different device, in the circumstance that this video is an output of another screen recording from another video, or it is in some way affiliated with a application on the iPhone that somehow shows the track record of security cam gathered footage. Part of this here, you can see in the very bottom, you can see the date in which this was recorded on 2026 on March 18th at 14:32 and 15 seconds in. Now, 14:32 is a measurement of time that is entirely based on the idea of military time, used by the military to tell the time quicker, and also just to avoid any miscommunication in between the differences of 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. 14:32 here, with this knowledge, would be approximately 2:32, 15 seconds in standard time that most people do follow. Now, if you look up and you see the area here, I would like you to pay attention down here to right down here to the lower right. You will see a figure here with a backwards hat and very violet, bright purple outfit here. This is our subject for today's video. This individual here will, in the next couple of moments, proceed to get his shit rocked, and this is the breakdown of it. Now, as you can see around him, there are a estimated 4 to 5 individuals that are in the surrounding area currently as this frame is being dissected. Now, the confusion here on whether or not there is a fifth person is because of the person over here with the blue shirt and the khakis. Now, it does look like that there is an individual in front of him, which is most likely true, but it cannot be fully proven. But, however, it is likely to be the fifth person. As you can see around here, this is obviously in a school building, as what looks to be somewhere near an exit, and clearly everybody has their backpacks and hats are allowed, so it does show that this is approximately after school hours. Now you can see over here, you can see that there is a total of you can see there is a total of an estimated 4 males and 1 female. The female being in the back room over here, and then right down closer to the bottom, you will see 3 gentlemen. Our main subject, of course, being the one on the right. The most noticeable aspect so far into the video currently is the fact that there is no visible audio through the video. Now, you can see that the reasoning for this is due to the fact that in the top right corner, you can see that is a muted speaker symbol, which represents the idea that the current video that you are playing has the audio either muted or it did not come with it. The idea on whether or not there is actual audio of this is unknown. Currently, in the predicament of this video right now, you can see our main subject now walking with the same group of individuals before, plus 2 additional ones that you can see closer to the left, one in a blue shirt, or one in a blue hoodie, and one in what seems to be a black coat. Now, as you can see that the woman has finally left the entrance before and is now heading down the hallway, and you can now see a figure in yellow right behind her that has now appeared seemingly from nowhere, probably from another entrance, and is now making her way down the area. As you can also see a little bit to the left of her, you can see what appears to be something in which a guitar is being held, as it does suggest the idea that there is a band room or there is some musical program located within this high school. As our subject right now, who is a little bit lower to the guitar, is moving down a little bit further as he is making his way across the hallway. He seems to be calm, collective, and in general, not suspecting of anything to come. Now, from the preceding footage, the main thing to note was the fact that while the video was progressing, there were segments of the video that had either sped up quicker than intentionally intended to be viewed, or paused in a way where it froze for a good second to fully display the image at hand before eventually correcting itself and continuing on with the footage. This could be a result of the camera's own quality and ability to fully capture the intended surroundings, and maybe faulty for the camera, or instead it could represent the actual fault of the footage in which this is being recorded. Now, onto the actual individuals portrayed. We can see that our main individual here has walked up a little bit further into the room where it is still visible, and you can quite see here, at least by the footage, that he ended up just standing here, just kind of in the middle, letting the people around him eventually walk past him. As you can see, more people have gone and left, as the girl has officially left the proximity, and now the 2 individuals are still behind him, but have seemed to catch up, and in a second here are likely to overpass him and continue on with wherever they were planning on going. We have now seen 2 other individuals here walk by, one in a white shirt and one in a black shirt, and then behind them another individual in another white shirt, but little to nothing else is known about them, as they relatively look unimportant to the surroundings of the video itself. However, as we can now see, the area that we have mainly seen our main character right now has been completely enclosed, or has been completely ended. There is no real sign of him coming back to this point, and right now it seems as if there is currently no plan in the future for him to return to this location, so it implies the idea that he is not going to be returning here, which entails that he too was planning on leaving to a degree before something that he visibly saw represented this idea in his mind that he needed to stop, and that he needed to go and focus his attention to standing still while letting other people around him pass. Now, in the footage, a lot has happened in the sole second that this footage has been broadcasted. As you can see, the individuals behind him have stopped and are now arguably not very in motion currently, as it is seen that our main character here has now been pushed by another individual who was previously unknown into what is going to look like a little corner, or alternatively into the door itself. Now, this individual here that is pushing our main character is what we call an antagonist. Our individual here, who we have no real motive currently for why he did do this, we do know for a fact that he is in some way trying to impact and hurt our main character. Now, the background characters are still all the same people. There hasn't been much movement other than the main conflict that has now just arisen between our main character and our antagonist. The reasoning behind our antagonist's motives are currently unknown. As we have seen now, as the conflict continues, we have now seen that our main character has now been taken to the point where he is now on the floor. It is unknown whether or not he is still in current conscience or not, but we can see our main antagonist here laying some punches, some faulty punches that have not quite done the exact damage that were intended, but for the majority of the hits, they have done substantial damage and have done what his intended purpose was for them. As we can see for our background characters, they have not really moved in any way, shape, or form that is in any way prominent, and for the large most part of this, they are currently standing relatively still, watching the current conflict that is happening in front of their eyes. Some, however, have made some general movement, but nothing enough to truly show or stand for anything representative of the current situation that is going on with our main character and antagonist. As we now currently see here, we have seen that as the conflict continues, we have now get a better look at our background characters, as a new individual has shown in a tan, almost yellow-like outfit, paired next to another individual in black clothing, followed by our two other formerly known characters. Now, as we can see, two new characters have appeared from the horizon, one in a brown vest-like clothing thing, and another individual in a green sweater and white backpack, as they have introduced themselves into the conflict, going into the hallway, something that has once again not been used until now. Since the exit of our main character, we have now seen that the conflict has risen to the point of interest amongst the background characters. This implies that the conflict itself has been important enough and visible for other individuals to notice and pay attention to it. A couple interesting things have happened so far in this clip portrayed here. As we have seen before, the new characters who have entered into the scene have now walked a little bit further into the room, where they are now met with our main character here, as he is now leaned and kind of fallen into the door frame currently. And we have now seen as our main antagonist here has ended the conflict and is now ready to either come back again for more punches, or is understanding that now he has done the damage that he was requesting to do, and is now making either an attempt to leave or some attempt for maybe a possible monologue of sorts. Now, currently not much of that is known, but right now it does look that our main character here has fallen relatively, and that the main antagonist does have the upper hand. So as we continue throughout this, we will continue to see these events unfold, and we will be able to see what fully has really gone on with our main antagonist's mind, to where they would develop this conflict with the main character. We have now seen the preceded events unfold, and we have now seen that our main antagonist here has officially left the perimeter. as our main character now has fallen. He has now kind of risen himself up at least a little bit to gain full closure about the event, as we now see a crowd of people that have formed, including our 2 new characters that have entered, and now a small little crowd of background characters who have stayed to watch the current events unfolding. Right now, things are not looking quite good for our main character, and we will now shortly here be seeing what is eventually to be the determining factor on whether or not he will recover in any way, shape, or form from this conflict given here. But currently it is unknown, and in all regards it does appear that our main character is not coming back from this. A lot has happened right now within these last 6 seconds, as we can see now that the doors have officially closed, representing the end to this conflict, as our main character once again goes down this hallway, this time in a alternative fashion, where now we can see a expression of regret, disappointment, and maybe even sadness on the fact that this conflict did happen and he was unable to come back from this. Now, as we can see, our main antagonist has flown, and there is no idea as to where his whereabouts may entail. As we can see back here, all of our other background characters have relatively disappeared, except for the individual back there with the black clothes and white backpack, and what looks like a lady in a blue shirt and a black dress, who is now clearly visible, and right now may or may not have some relevance later into the story, as she is the only one seen with a face. However, it is currently unknown whether or not anything will come from that or continue, and right now it relatively does not seem like she will have much importance, as the conflict will likely lead to being more involved with the idea of our main character and himself instead of the main character and the people around him, as he was just publicly embarrassed by being beaten up by our main antagonist. As we can see here, the conflict has officially come to an end, as the screen from the beginning of the video has now come back up, representing the end of the video. As we can see, there has been nothing much else to really change, other than the fact that our main character has now almost fully walked out of frame, symbolizing the end of this part. Now, there's not much known to how this goes any further than this. With more footage, we would be able to come up with a more accurate telling of the story, but as it sits here, with the tools provided, we have been able to come to a solid conclusion about the fight, and have been able to decide who was the winner and who was the loser. Unfortunately for our main character, it seems as if he was not the victorious individual that I'm sure that we would all have loved him to be, as the main antagonist has been able to attack him and get the upper hand. Now, whether this entails a revenge or a comeback is unknown. If there was more footage, of course, we would be able to know, but as it stands here, it has been quite the interesting tale.